Thom Hartmann here on Labor and Economic News. You need to know this. John Olin is writing an economy in crisis and asking, are college grads really at fault for massive student loan debt? He writes that it's clear almost all Americans, including our elected leaders, that the student loan debt issue is getting worse and worse. More loans are going into default as graduating students have a difficult time paying off debts because they can't find jobs. Now, many conservatives argue that if you took the loan, you have to pay it back, even if it's hard to pay it back because there aren't any good jobs anymore. Olin uses the example of Columbus, Ohio, which once was a great city known for its amazing job opportunities. Flash forward to present day, and now the city's poor and nearly poor population has risen 50% just from 2000 to 2013. So are our children responsible for student debt when conservatives have ruined our economy? Maybe our kids should send an invoice for their debt to every conservative congressperson. Here's student loan debt part 2. Russ Feingold has launched a campaign to ease the burden of student loans as former Wisconsin Senator Russ Feingold tries to unseat Republican Senator Ron Johnson. He is promoting a social media campaign advocating a proposal that would allow students to refinance their loans. Johnson has called student loan refinancing a, quote, a big government giveaway proposal, and also referred to student loans as free money. The Republican senator voted against Senator Elizabeth Warren's proposal to allow student loan borrowers to refinance their loans at significantly lower interest rates. To prevent the bill from adding to the federal deficit, it would enact the Buffett rule. This is now not Johnson's positions, but Russ Feingold's, imposing a minimum tax on millionaires. Ron Johnson apparently doesn't mind saddling students with more debt so long as the fortune of multimillionaires are not imposed upon. Cam Nguyen, a member of the City Council of San Jose, California, spent his Memorial Day weekend in Portland, Oregon, sleeping in the Right to Dream 2 homeless encampment. Nguyen has been on the council for a year, and in that time, he says his colleagues have constantly dismissed the idea of supporting encampments, arguing that they foster crime and other social ills. They have been instead talking about building permanent housing for the homeless. But Nguyen says those discussions have dragged on and on for years, and he's had it with all the talk and no action. He accepted an invitation to visit the Right to Dream 2 homeless encampment out of frustration, he said, and to, quote, experience for myself the good and bad of it, end quote. He says what he found was a highly functional community, but one that could use some improvements. People living there told him, quote, we want safety. We're tired of being beat up and kicked and harassed on the street. We want a safe night's sleep, a good night's sleep. He said it was very safe and very desirable for people who needed a place to sleep. Of course, it could be improved in many ways, end quote. Now he's going to bring his experience back to share with his colleagues in San Jose as a way of exploring the option of supporting encampments while plans for more permanent housing slowly grind on. Are you female? Subtract $2,400. The American Veterinary Medical Association, a professional association that represents most of the country's animal doctors, apologized last week for posting a salary calculator that assumed female vets would make $2,400 a year less than their male counterparts in their first job out of school. The group clarified that, of course, it doesn't believe that men should make more money than women, but was merely trying to give students an accurate picture of what to expect in the job market. Quote, you should be upset over the gender disparity in starting salaries, just as we at the AVMA are upset about it. Unfortunately, it's a reality and one we have reported on in the past, just never in the calculator, end quote, the group said in a lengthy statement. They added, quote, the AVMA actively encourages students who use this calculator to run a few scenarios and then utilize all the information gained to strategically advocate for themselves during salary negotiations, end of quote. Pay disparity is particularly galling considering that a majority of veterinarians, 58%, are women, according to the association's own data. Indeed, about 80% of the students enrolled in veterinary school right now are women. Here's your economic and labor news quickies. AFL-CIO President Rich Trumka is speaking out on Trump and working people. He said, when you look at Donald Trump, you have to say three things. One, he's unfit to be president. Two, he would make it harder for working people to make ends meet. And three, he would tear our country apart. As a result of that, we're going to go out and educate our members, and we're going to give them the facts about Trump and get past the bluster, end of quote. Trumka's comments came to the French media outlet France 24. We've heard of vertical gardens, but what about vertical forests? The Mountain Forest Hotel in Jinzhou, China's Wenfang Valley, is a carbon-sucking, sky-high marvel created by Milan-based architect Stefano Boeri. It's a symbol of restitution, Boeri told Time of the Mountain Forest Hotel that's opening in fall of 2017. Buildings have to take care of nature, he said. Symbiosis is the goal. Sustainability not only depends on energy conservation, but on a wider biodiversity. The symbiosis between man, architecture, and nature is the real sustainability, end of quote. Wow, is all I can say. And that's the way it is for the week of June 6th, 2016. I'm Thom Hartmann on Labor and Economic News.